Saturday, Saturday, do what you want on Saturday. Watch cartoons, ride your bike, eat whatever the heck you like. Oh, yeah, we live for Saturday. Hey there, friends and foes. Good morning, multiverse. This is Back of the Cereal Box, the pop culture podcast that celebrates the fun of the Saturdays of our youth while sharing what we love in adulthood today. I am your host, the prophet of pop culture, John Pica. You can call me Johnny Beyond if you dare. And this morning, Willow, Aubrey, and I are going to take a deep dive into one of the most underrated and forgotten Saturday morning cartoon shows as part of our new Saturday Morning 102 series, and that's Flash Gordon. So we got a lot of fun in the virtual rec room this morning. Stick with us. Come along. Jump in your PJs, grab a big bowl of cereal, and come join us in the virtual rec room to talk about Flash Gordon and all of the cool stuff that we're doing. Now, I am absolutely a comic book, cartoon, and movie fanatic. Avengers comic books, Star Wars movies, and Saturday morning cartoons made me who I am today. And we're called Back of the Cereal Box because when I was a kid, Saturday mornings meant big bowls of cereal, in our pajamas, watching cartoons, reading comic books, and kaiju movies. But because we didn't have iPhones or tablets at the breakfast table on Saturday mornings, we were reading literally the back of the cereal box. And that was our newspaper. That was our world. That was our portal to pop culture that we love today, because they would put comics on the back or inside, and games and puzzles and sometimes records. So this show is all about that fun, those nostalgia fueled memories. And this morning, as you can see, I am eating Frosted Bran from Kellogg's, and you guys are going to get my review in a minute. But before we even do that, we need to welcome in my venerable co-hosts. And sliding in at the very nick of time is our emotional support committee. First day with my new tongue. Let's rewind. Sliding in the nick of time is our emotional support Canadian, the Peppermint Princess, all the way from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. She is a fan of cartoons, comic books, X-Men, Ninja Turtles, Power Rangers, pretty much if you can name it, she's got a passion for it. It is the one, the only Willow Schuyler.
Good morning.
Good morning, Willow. How are you?
A little tired. Had a bit of a late night with the in-laws, so it's
Well, I had a late night with my dog because it rained here in Middle Tennessee. You guys, I have an 80-pound hound Labrador something mix, and if it even rains, she flips out. There's no thunder, there's no lightning, it's just raining, and she's barking and panting and getting right in my face. And so it's not good. It's not good. So I was up till 3:00 this morning.
Oh no. Trying to reassure a sucky dog.
Yep. Ta-da!
Oh.
Well, let's also welcome in our third in our thruple. She is your wife's favorite redhead. She is an amazing cosplayer and photographer and artist and a fan of retro comic books in particular. Give it up for Aubrey Cavett.
Good morning, Johnny. Good morning, box toppers. How is everybody this morning? I, too, suffered through the Middle Tennessee storming last night, but I was out at a country bar.
Did it storm in your area? See, it didn't here. It just rained. And not even hard rain.
It stormed and it rained, but it only stormed enough to keep people mildly inside because there was people all over downtown still.
How was the wind in your area? Like, that could have probably... No.
She's just a little bit of a wuss. Now, ladies,
people don't like storms.
Yeah, ladies, I've already shared that I am eating the very last remnants of Kellogg's Frosted Bran this morning. It is amazingly good. Surprisingly good. It's basically raisin bran without the raisins and then with frosted flakes frosting.
Okay.
And it's nothing fun on the back, but it's surprisingly good. So I got to ask you and everybody in the audience, what's in the bowl? So as Willow and Aubrey are sharing their morning delights, wait a minute, was that the right phrase? Anyway, while they're sharing what they have in their bowl, you in the audience can join us in the chat and let us know what you're chowing down on. So Willow, what you got? Looks like honeycombs again.
Yep. Still honeycomb. I didn't go shopping.
That's okay. Aubrey, what about you?
I too, for one of the few times, did not go shopping, but I do have still left a good bit of my chocolate and strawberry milkshake. So I'm going to start with the strawberry.
You need to mix them. Mix them. Do a Neapolitan.
No. Well, that's what I thought of, Johnny. But I was like, if I eat the strawberry, leave the milk in, and then put the chocolate in, the milk will taste like Neapolitan. I'm going to try it on camera. We'll see if it turns into Neapolitan or some kind of weird cereal sludge that I don't want to eat. Experimentation on camera live. Ooh.
Well, while you're doing that, let me just say that Kellogg's Frosted Bran is surprisingly good, but like any of the flake cereals, it does get mushy pretty quick. So you got to pretty much wolf it down. All right, here goes Aubrey. First with the strawberry. Now it'll take a while for her to go through that strawberry to get to the chocolate. So we'll come back to her in a little bit. This show is brought to you by our Cereal Box Super Friends, Eli Cash, Phoenix Sisters Cosplay, Sharice Collins, Dave Mattingly, Valerie Davidson, Jeremy Bell, Day One Comics, George Soroy, Larry Amiet, Elliot Latham, Robert Alsop, and Clyde Hall. And we could not do this show without them. They support us on patreon.com/cerealboxpodcast. And if you want your name in lights, if you want to join these awesome people, you can contribute at patreon.com/cerealboxpodcast. And, membership starts at just $1 a month. And you can do different levels, and different levels of Patreon supporters get different things, exclusives, live streams just for them where they get to come on camera with us, early access to Back Issue Breakfast Club, exclusive art, and we do a collector's showcase series every week, and you get exclusive access to that. And there's all other kinds of fun stuff. And our VIP cereal boxers can do their own show. You can do your own show, co-hosted by me or Willow or Aubrey, and that's only available to VIP members. So if you've always wanted to be the host of your own show, consider that. We're also brought to you by Tales of the Decoverse, my book series, available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and the new installment is coming next month. We'll have a cover reveal soon. Dun, dun, dun. Willow, you're very quiet this morning.
I'm so very sorry.
Okay. I am done with the strawberry.
Okay, that did not take long.
That's the fastest I've ever eaten cereal.
Oh my gosh. Well, while you're doing the chocolate, we've got some great comments this morning.
Woohoo!
If you're in the audience, you can join us in the chat and be a part of the show. You are basically our fourth co-host.
Mm-hmm.
And Dave Mattingly says, good morning, Box Tops. Good morning, Dave Mattingly. Always great to have you. And he's got his bowl of oatmeal and bananas.
Ooh.
And Angie Welfare is joining us, and she asks, how many calories in a bowl of frosted bran?
Good question.
I am glad you asked because I am very calorie conscious. 150 calories per cup. Now, I do about 2 cups in the morning, so that's about 300 calories. Now, with milk, whole milk, which I'm using today, it shoots it up a lot higher. I usually do almond milk, and usually a half a cup of almond milk is 40 calories. So I usually keep it right around 300, 340 calories. You're welcome.
I can eat that. I can eat my allotted calories in one sitting.
Well, it's tough. Adulting is hard. See, when we were kids, we could eat anything we want, right? And just run it off.
It's
You know,
amazing. There was one time where I was trying to count calories, and then I decided to make breakfast one day, and literally the breakfast, bacon, the eggs, and hash browns.
okay. So, Willow, I'm going to reassure you here. So, one egg is, depending on the breed and the farm, one egg is between 80 and 100 calories. For a serving of 4 slices of bacon is between 125 and 150 calories. So, you could do 2 eggs, 4 slices of bacon, right around 325 calories. Or you could do 2 eggs, 2 slices of bacon, and see, I try to keep every meal I eat right at 300 calories. So
have no self-control when it comes to food.
That's fair. That's fair. I've been there. I barely have any now. Okay, so I got them all mixed up in the milk. Oh gosh, how do I see the milk in this tiny little bowl? You can't. Okay, wait. I don't want to dump it, so I'm gonna move my camera for you guys. You can see the milk is actually still there. Okay, all right, and now let's see if this. If my camera will go back to where it was. Let's see if this is Neapolitan or just, mud. Captain Crunch,
I'm frightened.
here's to you. It does. It tastes almost exactly like Neapolitan ice cream.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, I bet you could actually mix the cereal together in a really big bowl, and this might be blasphemy to some people, but throw out the cereal and freeze the milk.
Well, okay. Why? You can go to the grocery store and buy Neapolitan ice cream.
I know, but people like doing weird stuff all the time.
I know.
Make a Neapolitan milkshake out of milk made from Tony the Tiger's Best. If somebody does it, let us know. Cereal milk milkshake. Oh, cereal milk milkshake.
Well, that's a good idea. And by the way,
I'm not a fan of Neapolitan, but this isn't bad.
Okay.
Almond milk.
Love almond milk. One of the reasons why I love almond milk, I've gotten, at first it didn't really taste very different to me, but once you've been doing it for a while, you really taste the difference when you go back to whole milk. Mm-hmm. And it makes, one of the things I like about the almond milk is it does not pull away from the flavor of whatever is made with it. You taste more of the cereal, less of the milk. Now, I'm cheating this morning because I only had a very little bit of the frosted bran left. I had a very little bit of gingerbread toast crunch. So I'm finishing off this box, and the back of this box has a fun cutout gingerbread house. I might cut that out now that I'm finishing the cereal. But anyway, all right, we got more audience comments. Good morning, fellow cereal boxers, says Zentron. and he is coming at us live from in front of my PC screen, working on my 16.9 HD Shira redraw.
Ooh, nice. I like it.
And Tabby Cat is joining us. Good morning, peeps. Good morning, Tabitha. And I love that all of our cereal box super friends are now greeting each other in the chat. And I love that this becomes like kind of a friends gathering every Saturday morning. That was always my goal, to recreate the feeling of a Saturday morning after a Friday night sleepover with your friends, just for adults, for grown-ups. And people who don't do like comic conventions, they don't understand that. Because how many times, Aubrey, have you roomed with someone at a con that you met that day?
It's so weird. It's a different kind of camping. It's the geek kind of camping because it's in a hotel, but you're also kind of changing in the same room with almost strangers, but you're all socially awkward in the same similar ways.
Willow, have you ever been con camping?
No.
You never floor surfed?
No, I got invited to join a couple people, but I'm married. So the last time I had a sleepover at a convention was just before my brood of cats showed up.
Well, I do it all the time. You know, we go to a con and we camp out together, and because that's how you save money. Because I don't know if you guys have seen lately, hotels are expensive.
Yes.
And
Last few years, it cost me at least $1,000 to go 3 days because of the hotel.
sometimes you're lucky if the convention itself is hosted at a hotel and you get the hotel block. But yeah, it's right now it's like $100 a night or more.
That's it.
I think the Radisson was 150. I think a night.
What? That's all? See,
Wait, 150 a night?
yes,
That's pretty darn good.
that's
Considering.
amazingly cheap.
I'll have to. I'll get you. I'll get back to you. I'll look to see how much for KeyCon, May long weekend.
The average hotel rate in America for a convention is $250 to $300 a night, and that's the con rate.
Yeah, it's gotten pretty crazy. It depends on the hotel. The cheaper, older hotels are usually under. I went to one and it was still under construction. Like almost a third of it was still under construction, and they were having a con there. So it was cheaper for the convention. It was cheaper for the people. But the amenities were, not existent. So it depends on how much comfort level you want in the hotel. You can get a $100 hotel still out here, but it's what they might consider a roach motel. You're not quite sure what is where, and you definitely need to clean the bathroom and change the sheets before you lay down.
And you don't walk anywhere, day or night, by yourself.
Yeah, and you don't go around the floors barefoot. Just keep your socks on.
Yeah.
So if it's that kind of hotel, I don't really feel like sometimes it's worth it unless you're on a super time crunch and you're really letting people like just get in on things together and it's like a family thing. Otherwise, I'd rather sleep in my car at that point. You're not even going to get that much Z's on that really bad bed, and the bathroom might not even be worth the shower.
I always, well, not always, but I often camp out in the car.
See, I don't know who feels like they're too good for it, but if you've never had a shower at a truck stop, do it one day, okay? Because the water pressure is freaking amazing. Bring your own shower shoes, but you get your own personal bathroom. There's your own personal giant sink. So you want to put your makeup on, ladies? You earned that because you pay for that shower time. You can stand or sit in the shower if you want to, and there's a potty right there. I mean, come on, it's a little mini dressing room. I'm digging it, and it's not that expensive. Way better than the Roach Motel showers, like where they drip and you can't tell if it's cold water or freezing.
Yeah, truck stop showers are luxurious. It's pretty cool. Anyway, Tabby Cat, having our discussion about calories, chimes in. I count carbs instead of calories. Works better for me that way. So here's my little secret, Tabby Cat. And I've lost almost 100 pounds doing this. I also count carbs and calories. But here's what's most important. Saturday, I cheat. Saturday is my cheat day. The rest of the week, I don't eat anything with wheat, soy, or processed sugar. And I don't eat anything with more than 9 grams of added sugar, single digits. So, as a result of that, I naturally gravitate to low carb foods that are low carb, low calorie, but high in protein so I don't get hungry. Because I do 1,500 calories a day, 300 calories 5 times a day. And that, if you, kind of go through that, you realize that's most restaurant meals are 1,500 calories by themselves. Most people are way overeating, and I try to stay way under that. So there you go. You're welcome. Ta-da! Dave Mattingly comments again. Aubrey's cereal milkshake brings all the cereals to the yard. I can't even do that in the right rhythm, Dave. But we get the bit. And and how's the rest of that song go, Willow?
And they're like, it tastes better than ours.
That's good. That's good. I love it. I love it.
Only on the back of the cereal box.
Yes. And Tabby Cat says of con camping, mutually assured awkwardness.
You know how many times I've heard sorry when I'm in a geek shared camping hotel room? Sorry. It's so great to know that you're not the only awkward person in the room.
So I'm really upset because Dave Mattingly has reminded me that this weekend is the Lexington Comic and Toy Con, and I was going to go because my aunt and uncle live there. And so I was going to stay with them and go to the con, and I completely forgot about it.
There's so many stars there this weekend.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with Charmed, and I don't know, Willow, if you liked Charmed at all, but almost every actor that was the lead in Charmed is there this weekend. And I could Holly Marie Combs so bad.
I love Charmed for what it was. Yes, I watched it a little bit, but hearing the stories of Shannon Doherty's unfriendliness just kind of turned me off. Yeah,
that's fair.
Interesting. So, it's only 3.5 hours away from me. I could still load up the car and go up there today, but I can't just show up on my aunt and uncle's front door unannounced saying, hey, I'm going to spend the night tonight.
Yeah, you could.
I could, but I don't know.
Is there not a local truck stop to stay at overnight?
Well,
I can bring my car and I can sleep in my car.
It's a whole
down like so good. So
now
good.
it's a whole other thing going on there too with family and my kids. But anyway, Dave Mattingly says he's used to $325 a night.
Dave, you and your wife got some expensive taste, but I mean, they must be some nice hotels.
Well,
okay, so I apologize for cutting you guys off. I found the price thing for KeyCon. Had a long weekend. If you guys want to come up, the Hilton Winnipeg Air Suites 4-star to 4.2 or 5 review. I don't know why they have it like that. $209 a night compared to $319 typical rate. Free parking, airport shuttle, Wi-Fi pool, fitness center, 10% discount on food, and also a discounted $18 breakfast.
$18 breakfast? That's pretty pricey.
Well, it discounted $18. So
Oh no, that's about the same price of the Music City Sheridan breakfast. It's about $20 now, but it's all you can eat, and the food is way better than every buffet you'll ever be at for breakfast.
But there's a pool, so
And a pool. There you go.
Whereas we were stuck without a pool for the longest time at the Radisson.
So
hey, you can have that skinny dip party.
Oh, there you go. So that hotel that I'm going to for the convention. I'm
Wait, say that
nerds walking around naked. I don't know if I can be part of that party.
Is that kind of party? Oh boy.
Well, but think about it this way, Willow. For some of those guys, that will be the only bathing they do that weekend.
That's why we have baskets in almost every hospitality suite full of personal hygiene products.
Dear congoers, bring deodorant with you, pretty please.
I have 3 words: soap and water.
That wears off. Use deodorant.
Not if you, well, yeah, but not if you do it every day.
No, Johnny. As a person who gets nervous and is a geek and has sweaty palms and is awkward, I will let you know, first of all, if I ever shake your hand and I'm sweaty palms, I am sorry ahead of time, and I like you. And don't, that's not every time, okay? Second of all, soap and water does wear off. So I wear maximum strength deodorant since I was 15. So if I can do it, ladies, gentlemen, and germs, so can you.
Look, here's all I ask of convention goers. Take a shower, wear deodorant, and wear clothes that fit.
Oh, well, you can't make people do that. You can't make people do that.
At least
that.
I
like 3X clothes with a belt on. I feel comfortable.
So. Well, but at least you're doing something to make it look intentional. I'm saying at least, okay, if they don't fit, if they're too, and I don't mind if it's too big, but the guys with the big beer bellies, it's not even beer bellies, it's hot pocket bellies, hanging out over their sweatpants, but the shirt is too small and it's got mystery stains all over it. Come on, guys.
You're wondering, wait,
because describe the majority of the customers that I had at EP Games.
I know. That's why Aubrey's having to come apart here. She's like, "Oh my God, Johnny, you're describing like 90% of the men that show up at cons."
So wait. So it's not a beer belly; it's a hot pocket belly.
Yeah, because they're they're
rolls in hot pockets.
neck beard man boys in their parents' basement eating hot pockets all day.
Okay. If you
again, you just described the majority of the WoW gamers.
That's a joke. Okay.
Oh no, Aubrey thinks I'm joking. I'm not joking.
No,
Whoa.
She's like, please stop. We want people to watch us. Oh, anyway.
Our opinions are like bums. Everybody's got one. Not everybody likes theirs or anybody else's. So
yeah. Eli T. Cash is joining us, and he says, walks in on fire for no reason. Yep.
Eli, how many Hot Pockets do you eat?
I'm never going to look at a Hot Pocket the same way again.
Wait. So now that we're talking about Hot Pockets, okay, just off the subject for a minute because we talk about food sometimes. What is everybody's favorite flavor of Hot Pocket, and how much cooked or cold do you eat it? Because that is a actually question that I have asked a few people, and the answer can be really weird.
I have not eaten a Hot Pocket in at least a decade.
No, same.
So, but when I did, the last time I did, I would have to say pepperoni pizza is because I'm a pizza fanatic. That's, the rest of them are kind of like ham and cheese. This is kind of iffy. Like the Philly cheese, I don't know. It's kind of mystery ingredients, but it's hard to get pepperoni wrong. So pepperoni pizza would be my flavor of choice. Willow?
Honestly, I think I prefer like actual pizza pops than Hot Pockets. But that's just me. And I like putting them in the oven because they seem to cook a little bit better in the oven than putting them in the microwave, because you're always going to get that center part always frozen still. But I find putting it, if you do put them in the microwave, I put them in for 2 minutes, and then if I need to put them in for another minute or so, but it seems to always work out for me that way.
All right. And Aubrey?
Putting them in the oven or the toaster oven, never the microwave, and I always end up putting cheese on top of them.
Oh.
So it kind of makes the crust a little more edible.
Now, I will tell you.
Do you guys dissect your pizza pops?
Wait, pizza pops. What is a pizza
the Hot
pop?
Pockets? Like, do you like open it up and eat the filling first and then eat the crust? No. Okay.
I usually cut mine in half because I have to do everything weird apparently. And I found this out the hard way. I cut mine in half long ways because I don't like the middle being cold. And for some reason, every time I try to heat it, just the middle, which is like the center of cold, and you hit it in your mouth and you're like, throw it away. So if I sliced it in half, the long way, not in half like the normal way, then the middle gets not cold. And you can still do the cheese. You keep it like open, you slice it, but you keep it open, and the middle actually cooks and the cheese on top melts. And then, so yeah, that's how I ate Hot Pocket last time.
I will tell you that I do like toaster pastries.
Oh,
like and I think they call them toasters.
Toaster strudels.
Yeah, toaster strudels. Those I like.
Mm-hmm.
Hot Pockets, not so much. By the way, Tabby Cat says truck stop showers have the best water pressure and heat levels. I'm going to agree. Everyone's like, what is happening this morning?
And some of the food is really good at truck stops too. Like I will, like we had one place we had. I lived in between two truck stops in one of my foster homes, and they fed you very well at both places. So like I don't know, breakfast all day was the fun part of eating at truck stops.
That's funny. And Dave Mattingly adds that it's not that hotels are nice or anything, but at the big conventions, 50,000 plus, every hotel is expensive. That is correct. Mm-hmm. At Dragon Con, you're going to be like 600 a night. And Dave Mattingly says, it helps to carry around a spritz bottle of water for non-bathers and hecklers. So this is the cosplay that I want to do. I want to do Febreze Man. And carry around like a double holster of Febreze bottles, and I've got it sketched out in my head, wearing kind of like a Ghostbusters jumpsuit, but with a Febreze cap and holsters with Febreze bottles on the waist, and maybe even like a Ghostbuster backpack with a Febreze super soaker.
Help make this happen. I'm just saying. I
yeah.
Do it.
Yeah. Anyway,
That is a good one, Johnny. That is you need this to happen.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
hilarious. It's totally worth it.
And Dave Mattingly is with me. His last Hot Pocket was at least 20 years ago. Mine might be longer than 10. I just know it's been a long time, at least 10. And Tabby Cat says, Hot Pocket Belly, LOL.
Right.
And Zentron says, I've never had a Hot Pocket. Not sure if they're over here. Yes, you have, Zentron. But in authentic circles, they're not called Hot Pockets because Hot Pockets are imitation attempts at what you would call a pasty.
Yes, it's a meat pasty or a meat pie. It's not as good though. It's
No.
not as good.
No. Or the closest to it in America is an empanada.
Ooh, I do love empanadas. So just anything with bread and meat that's cooked.
Yeah. And Andrew Milden has joined us and he says toaster strudel is my favorite breakfast frozen treat.
Oh. Do you eat it frozen? Some people eat them cold. Did you know that?
I eat sometimes I eat Pop-Tarts cold.
Okay. That I understand though. But the strudel from the freezer, cold.
Yeah.
Zentron says, I lost 10 pounds on Friday. I was livid. I was going to buy my lunch with it. But
Fuzzy bear! Zentron and Fuzzy! Yay! That was great. Waka waka, sir.
Anyway, yes, and Dave echoes pasties, also known as empanadas.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, there's all kinds of comments in the comment section about Hot Pockets. Now, you know what? We've started something here, and Andrew Milden says, I do eat the strudel cold. Wow. And Eli T. Cash says, toaster strudel, a.k.a. you're a filthy peasant if you eat Pop-Tarts.
Okay, there's a local bakery that makes homemade Pop-Tarts. They are delicious.
Wait, local to Columbia?
Yes.
Where you're at?
Yes.
Is it the one on the square?
Buckhead Coffee House. They are delicious.
I want to try
They're very
a
good.
homemade
You should.
homemade
You should.
Pop-Tart. So, as usual, we've gone way off the rails, and
Where's our loot?
we need to get to our next segment, sponsored by Entertainment Earth. You can click the link in our show notes and get all of your toy and loot needs. And this is the part of the morning that we call prizes from the cereal box, aka new loot, because when we were kids, we would reach into the box and dig out the prize inside, the toy inside, or I've said it before, I would just dump out the whole box of cereal in a big bowl of cereal, and then you had to eat the whole box in one sitting, and that either infuriated your mother, amused your father, and probably did not agree with your and did not agree with your stomach.
Father was the one that liked the cereal, and then he would be infuriated.
Sometimes. So, ladies, I'm going to go last because my prizes from the cereal box tie directly into the theme of this morning with Defenders of the Earth. And I actually missed a great comment from Zentron. Speaking of Defenders of the Earth, he typed, where to go? Zentron says about Defenders of the Earth, master of magic, spells, and illusions. Enemies crumble in fear and confusion. Mandrake. All right. So
That was great.
Willow, do you have Any
I-
prize from your cereal box this morning?
Hubby went shopping and found these guys at Walmart.
All right. Okay, so can we talk about these for a minute?
Yep.
These are the Playmates figures. They started with the original license back in 1980, whatever, and then they still have the license, but there are other companies that have the Turtles license as well, like NECA and a few others, Super 7. But these are the original Playmates, and these are only $10 each, guys. So if Playmates can do carded action figures for $10, why can't everybody else? So did you get the full set?
Yes, but Joe's like, I gotta go raid another Walmart because he's missing it. He bought me a set, or well, originally he bought himself and his brother a set, but I'm like, no, I want a set.
But you don't have them physically there?
I do, but right now he has them stashed up in one of the spare rooms, so I wasn't able to grab it before coming.
You guys should see me coming into the studio in the morning. I come in like a pack mule. I got a backpack on my back full of cereal, bowls, milk, loot. It's rather comical.
So
all right.
Whole room for your geek stuff. Is that correct? Did I just hear that?
We have okay, so because we don't have any children, we have 2 spare bedrooms. One is currently my costuming room, and the other room is just, stuff. But yes, we do have our geek stuff in I'll actually show you a video. I'll send you guys the video that I did a couple of years ago showing off
cool
the
to hear about who don't have kids and what they do with their space.
Well, I'm about to be one of them.
Oh,
Because
really?
my son's about to move out, and my daughter has only 18 more months of college. So, and so I'm going to have 2 spare rooms in my house too. Now, look, I have my own office that is filled ceiling to floor. And the only reason I don't broadcast from that office is because the internet connection is so bad and I can't get a wired connection to work in that office. It's a whole thing. But my rec room where I'm at right now, this is you can see the Star Wars posters. This is the movie room. So I've got, Spider-Man, Logan, Greatest Showman, Star Wars, and a bunch, 2 bookcases full of books and videos that, are kind of my thing. So, and the little kitchenette in the back of the room with the refrigerator and cereal and milk. So, yeah. Anyway, what do you got?
Joe has sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt again, but Joe has his Lego stuff in one of our rooms. So.
I think you should broadcast from that room.
Ooh.
I have to move stuff around in order to put my computer in there. So yes, that is that is supposed to be my office. So I have to. One of these days, I will move into my office.
Well, I think you need to say, "Hey, Joe, we've got this great setting for me for Back of the Cereal Box. It fits the theme so well, and it fits my personality so well. Help me just carve out a little space."
He wants me to move my costuming stuff out of the big room so that he can put his train set in the big room. Which means I'll have to figure out how to put all my stuff in my office.
Oh no.
Along with his
when
Lego
two geeks
stuff.
fall in love and they have to share a space for their collections. Will they make it? Of course they will. They'll find space. Okay.
Or Willow, here's the solution. Just take all of the collectibles and spread them throughout the entire house. I mean, it's just the 2 of you, right? You don't need to like. I would make it
Again, I will
all
show you
inclusive.
guys the video. I'll actually make a new video actually because we got some new stuff. But yes, my house is covered. I should probably figure out a way to put all like the carded toys on my wall.
That
Yeah.
would be cool.
That's what you should do. I mean, there's no reason not to. I mean, do you have a bunch of adult friends coming over all the time that are going to look at you like you're a weirdo?
No,
There you
because
go.
all my adult friends are nerds just like me. So
Yeah.
Same
Yeah.
kind of weirdo. So they're going to appreciate your collections everywhere, definitely.
the only people who judge me are Joe's parents.
Well, but they don't count. They don't pay your bills, do they? Anyway,
Sorry, let's move on.
Okay, out of the back of my cereal box, you got any more, Willow?
Nope.
No? Okay, so I'm going to grab something that does pertain to the show and put it right here next to my mic because it's small. But I'm going to talk about something else really quick as fast as I can because I actually partnered with somebody on Instagram called Kaizen 3D Prints. They have over 18,000 followers. Thank you very much, Kaizen. I'm shouting you out. And in back of my cereal box, I can't put it in the box. So I decided to bring it out from the back of it, literally. So I have the convention coming up and I worked with them and they made me a set of bright green dragon claws.
Oh.
And that
those are cool.
a close-up of them. And so what you do is you take some foam that they send with the kit and you adjust it to your finger shape, but I'll take just a few off to kind of show how they work and how easy it is to actually have them work.
Oh.
And it just happens to match my coat today. But so there's those guys, and I will be shaping them because I have a bright green dragon mask, and I will be unveiling the completed cosplay for dragon for the electric dance party at Middle Tennessee Anime Convention coming up. And these are actually just as easy to pop back in, surprisingly, even though I have not been trained how to do that. But also, and these are the kid claws. I have 2 pair, and thank you again. But this piece that I'm about to unveil, they are showing off. I did the unboxing video, and they sent me a lovely little note with my order. Love and light. They used my name, and love and light to them also. I told them I had some difficulties going on with my life changes, and they were very gracious in their communication and understanding when we, business can't always get back to each other all the time. This is the great piece that they made me. So these are actual 3D printed dragon scales.
Oh, that's neat.
And so this is the piece that I'm going to be throwing together for the Middle Tennessee Anime Convention. There's a simple clasp here. And it is inspired by my poison ivy, as you can see by the leaf patterns.
Oh, cool.
When they designed it, they made it specifically with my poison ivy in mind because I'm an older cosplayer and I wanted something that I could kind of cross with it. So there it is.
Oh, that's
This is
very
my
pretty.
one of a kind ordered piece.
Mm-hmm.
And you can find them on Instagram. And these are scales that are movable. I'm going to sew them to my costume. And they are all movable on fabric. Very wearable. So thank you again. And I'm going to clasp this and wear it the rest of the episode.
Fantastic.
All right.
Hey, Aubrey, do something for me because something weird just happened. I want you to move real close to that mic and talk into it for just a second.
Hello? Hello, hello. Is that okay right there?
Because I think your camera mic is on. Because when you got really close to the camera, you got really loud. I think your sound's coming through your camera and not through your mic.
We'll have to figure that out. That might have happened. Can you hear me better right here?
A little bit, but I think it's because you're closer to the camera, not to the mic.
Oh, well, we'll have to figure that out. Let me see.
That's easy to figure out. It's in the settings down at the bottom of the screen.
All right.
Anyway, you get that clasp. You said you had something else?
Yes, this is the final piece right here. This is the piece that you already know about, Johnny. The antique phantom pin.
Oh, right. Oh, that's cute.
There he is.
Wow.
Directly from the 1980s. Pretty cool. So,
Hey, Dave Mattingly is being very disingenuous because he says, Aubrey, I'm glad to see those 3 pieces are a necklace and not the elements of a bikini.
I'm so glad you're glad, Dave.
I think he really wants them to be a bikini.
Well, the cereal box can always use more donations, and then we can work with a designer on figuring out maybe getting something.
Why am I thinking Red Sonja?
Oh my God, you read my mind. You're talking old school, but if I have lost, like Johnny, I have lost a lot of weight. I went from almost 300 pounds to under 160. So maybe it's time to do some photos before my body gets any older.
All right. So time for my prize from the cereal box. And this morning, if you guys are watching, we are going to be talking about Defenders of the Earth. So people who've been watching this for a long time know that I am obsessed with these characters, particularly Flash Gordon.
Oh.
This is from my personal collection. This is the Defenders of the Earth Flash Gordon figure from NECA. And I've also got the Phantom. I've got an entire Phantom shelf in my office because I love the Phantom so much. And but that's not all. There's more. I have actually, here's the Lothar figure. I got this for Christmas, so it's not come out of the package yet because I don't have enough stands for everything. So Defenders of the Earth Lothar from NECA. And if that weren't enough, let's see the next one I've got coming out of the box. Master of Spells. Yeah, Mandrake the Magician. And the one that I am maybe the most proud of, the most proud to own, is the main antagonist of Defenders of the Earth.
Nice.
Ming the Merciless. And you all, I have an entire Ming the Merciless shelf in my office, in my study. They're all still in the package, but this is all 3 of them. Yep, on the top shelf of my display case. The only reason that the 2 on either side of the middle are still in the box is because I ran out of stands. Mm-hmm. I ran out of display stands. I got to get some more. But yeah, we have the Defenders of the Earth. The one in the middle is from the Flash Gordon series from 1979 through 81. And then the original superheroes, Ming the Merciless, is from the original Al Williamson comic book strip. So, and then you don't see it, but on the right, there's a yellow box where you can see the Flash Gordon logo. That's a 2-pack of the movie Flash Gordon and Ming. So, yep, I'm obsessed with these characters. So that leads us into our next segment, our main topic of the morning, brought to you by, it's Saturday Mornings 102, brought to you by Nightly Spirits at nightlyspirits.com, promo code JohnP667. And with Saturday Mornings 102, we talk about the Saturday morning shows that are a little bit underrated or forgotten. Because our goal is to reignite your passion for something that you loved, or to introduce you to something you've never seen before but would love if you had known about it. So that's our goal. That's what you get from this show. And I want to remind everyone that if you love what we're doing, patreon.com/cerealboxpodcast. The banner is running down below, and that will give you exclusive access to all kinds of extras and early access to bonus episodes and artwork and special merch. I don't even mention the merch very much, but when you've been a patron for so long, you get t-shirts and coffee mugs and other special merch that is only available to patrons. So patreon.com/cerealboxpodcast. But we are talking about, ladies, one of the most underrated and forgotten animated shows of all time, The Defenders of the Earth. Defenders of the Earth. And Tale of the Tape. The Defenders of the Earth is an American animated television series produced in 1986. It features characters from 3 comic strips distributed by King Features: Flash Gordon, the Phantom, and Mandrake, the Magician, and of course, Mandrake's assistant, Lothar. And they are opposing Ming the Merciless in the year 2015. You guys, 1986, 2015 was the distant future. And supporting characters include their children, Rick Gordon, the son of Flash Gordon, LJ, son of Lothar, Kashin, adopted son of Mandrake, and Jetta Walker, the daughter of the Phantom. The show lasted for 65 episodes. There was also a short-lived comic book series published by Star Comics from Marvel. This is the comic book series. And that's the one-shot from Marvel. But the closing credits credit Rob Walsh and Tony Pastor for the main title music, and Stan Lee for the lyrics of the theme song.
I thought that was so cool when I read that.
Yeah. And then the show was later shown in reruns on Sci-Fi Channel as part of Sci-Fi's animation block Cartoon Quest. And of course, Flash Gordon has been seen in multiple other animated series. We've covered the Flash Gordon Saturday morning series from 79 to 82, and a reboot of Flash Gordon 1996 through 97. But these are the characters from left to right: Flash Gordon, the Phantom, Lothar, Mandrake. And Aubrey and Willow, before we get into your thoughts, I will say that this show did something really smart by combining these fan favorite characters. Because Phantom, Flash Gordon, Mandrake, and Lothar, they have roots all the way back to the 30s, and ravenous fans. I'm one of them. I love the Phantom. I love Flash Gordon. Surprisingly, maybe to you, Willow and Aubrey, I'm not a huge fan of Mandrake, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But adults who were fans of these characters could get into the show and get into their adventures. But here's what they did really smart: is they included the next generation for the next generation. And these these kid characters, Rick Gordon, he was a computer genius and had his father's ability to scrap, along with Jetta Walker and Kashin. Jetta Walker had telepathy powers, and she could communicate telepathically with her panther, and also through the panther. It was kind of a weird thing. Like, the panther created a bridge for her to communicate with her father and other people as well. And then you had LJ, the son of Lothar, who was a martial arts expert, and Kishin, who was Mandrake's adopted child. And Kishin was, let me see, looking at my notes here, he was an orphan boy adopted by Mandrake and trained as his apprentice. So he's got that magic mojo going on. And, per the 1980s, they always had to introduce a cutesy character. And here we have Fuffy. He's a character from Mongo that Kishin kind of takes under his wing. And yes, ladies, I don't know why they included him in the NECA Phantom figure, but I have a little Fuffy that goes with the Phantom. He's still in the box, but I've got him. Of course, they were opposed to Ming the Merciless, and Ming had a son. Ming had a son named Prince Crotan, and Prince Crotan had no respect for his father. He thought his father was, I mean, he was the original, okay, boomer.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. But, here's what was so brilliant about these second generation. They weren't little kids. They were high schoolers. Well, Kishin was younger, maybe junior high-ish, but Jeddah, LJ, and Rick were high school age, and they were competent. They were heroes in their own right. They were not kids in distress. And I thought that was really smart. And one of the hallmarks of this show for me, you got to remember, this is 1986. And a lot of animated series were not doing a lot with color grading and shading and, textures. And this show did. It was originally going to be produced by Marvel Studios, but it got picked up by, is it DIC that did it? You know what? Hold on. I'm going to. No, it was Marvel. Marvel did do it. Huh. So the original pilot, though, was very different. But Marvel Studios made this show, and they took it a step further from what they were doing with like Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends and Gem and G.I. Joe and the Transformers. The animation frame rate took another step up, and they did more with shading and gradations. And you can see this would become the foundations for what they would do in the 90s with the X-Men and Spider-Man and the other Marvel shows. So some groundbreaking animation on this. And the one thing that took me by surprise, because I hadn't seen this in a while, was Flash and, well, okay, Dale Arden dies in the first episode. Mm-hmm. And we actually see it happen. And this is Flash carrying Dale off because he's too late to save her. And she would later show up again, but not in physical form. She became the psyche, the operating system of Dynac X, the central computer of Defender's headquarters. And so she's never addressed by name in the series. It is Dale Arden as the voice of Dynac X. So
the thing about that, Johnny, if you go back and watch the episode,
mm-hmm.
there's a slight chance that Zuffy is responsible for saving the part of Dale Arden that they turned into Dynac X. Because in that episode, there is a crystal that just happens to find its way into her hand, even though she can't move. So if you go back and look, I'm pretty sure in that episode, Zuffy is the reason why we even get to have that character. So Really interesting. Y'all go back and see. But I think it's amazing. I will say that this is one of my favorite villains. I didn't even realize I was gonna like this villain. I never saw this ever. I never saw this cartoon. I heard of jokes about it. There are offshoots and other shows make fun of it. From Robot Chicken to what is the one with they're all under the sea? I can't remember. It's like Comedy Central's
Aqua Teen Hunger Force
Teen Hunger
or
Force.
Sea Lab.
Yes, and C Lab. So and then there was the other one with the Venture Brothers. They all like did little stuff in it that kind of like claws at it and gives inspiration from it, but not quite it. And I have to say, I mean, Ming is the merciless is merciless. I mean, maybe you should call him the never give up guy, because these aren't bad ideas. I mean, the defenders are just that good, because I did watch a bunch of episodes, and if you read up on any of the episodes that you haven't already seen, he's got some great ideas. That's not like some bad away like thing. He's not a villain that's like mostly comedy. He's doing good stuff. Like, he could actually take over. They're just that good. They just managed to get there in just the right time. Some of them were kind of stupid, like a giant slug. That episode was just kind of funny. And then there was one where Kashin like summons a little demon from Mandrake's magic room, and I'm like, oh, this is funny. I've seen this on Fairly Godparents, I think. Like, you can see little pieces like come from this story in tons of other cartoons I've seen, at least inspiration from it. But I gotta say, Ming is a badass. He really is. Like, he traps them a lot. He gets a hold of their young people. He finds their family and attacks them with their family, with old grudges. He finds people that have old grudges that have held on forever. There is a episode 26. Prince Valiant, who's in some comics and shows up.
Yeah, in King's Quest, that is the comic series from Dynamite, and this is one of the wraparound covers. You have Prince Valiant in the blue towards the back.
Okay. So he shows up in one of the in the actual cartoon in episode 26.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yep. He shows up, and there's his daughter, Ming's daughter, is named Princess Aura.
Yes.
Usually, and he uses her to try to get the defense.
Oh, listen. If you go back and watch the original Flash Gordon 1979 through 82 series, Princess Aura and Ming the Merciless have a very contentious relationship. She is the captain of the guards of his army, but they don't get along. And Princess Aura is lovers, and they don't make any bones about it, with Prince Baron, one of Ming the Merciless's rivals. And she's also got a thing for Flash Gordon, and she seduces him and helps him out over and over and over again.
Talk about daddy issues. Woo-hoo.
They touch on a lot of that in the 90s cartoon as well.
Okay.
That is so awesome. And the other thing I love is everybody's got a kid. Even though Mandrake's is an assistant, Kashin is an assistant. Adopted, like they have their own responsibilities, and they're still keeping track of their kids. They're defending, the earth, and then they're trying to keep track of whether or not they're going to school in Central City and if their grades are up. I mean, I feel like Gen Xers, this is like our people, man. Like they got the old people they're worrying about, right? They're old enough to do their own crap, and they got like almost adult kids that are running amok sometimes. This is a good show. This is actually, I'm sad that I never got to see this, but apparently it did reruns on Sci-Fi for a while. Did you guys know that?
Yeah, it did. It ran on Sci-Fi's cartoon block. And look, Corey, Willow, what are your thoughts about Defenders of the Earth before I go to some other comments?
You guys are really gonna hate me for this.
We don't ever hate you for any of your comments.
I think the reason why I didn't watch this show was because, well, my own personal issues with growing up in foster care, but because there was so many other cartoons, I completely missed the show. So, but I love the movie Flash Gordon. I was introduced to it. Yeah, one of my friends brought it over and we watched it, and I
King
loved it.
of Impossible.
And then I loved the cartoon from the 90s. I was hoping, I was expecting something to kind of bring me back to what I loved about the cartoon of the 90s, and this just wasn't it.
Well, so the 90s series was what many fans refer to as Surfer Boy Flash Gordon, because he had the midriff T-shirt and the Surfer Boy hairdo, and it was very much a product of the 90s.
Yes. Oh, yes. But I mean,
yes.
a lot of the cartoons that came out around that time was very much that as well.
Yeah. This show, one of the things I love about it is that it definitely had that old school pulp hero feeling to it. But they brought it into the contemporary with the teenage characters. I mean, come on. Let's be honest here. This is one of the reasons why I'm not a big fan of Mandrake the Magician, because we meet him in this show lounging in his mansion,
yes,
fully dressed in tuxedo and tails. What adventurer is going out saving the world in a tuxedo and top hat?
Guys, so I don't know if you guys ever watched a show called Ghost Adventurers or Ghost Hunters. Anyway, one of the Ghost Hunter shows. They have a guy called the Gentleman Sidekick. He looks exactly like the Mandrake.
Funny.
And has pretty much the same attitude.
Okay.
Well, he's doing a Mandrake cosplay, obviously. But here's the other thing. Not only when we meet Mandrake is he fully dressed in ready to go gear, but so is Lothar. Lothar wears this vest and the rope around his arm. I mean, he's dressed ready for a mission even late at night when they're having tea.
Right?
He looks like he's about to call Captain Planet.
So this is a few years before Captain Planet, but he's wearing a Defenders of the Earth emblem on his shirt. And yes, it is very similar to Captain Planet's.
Okay, so mentioning Mandrake, I did want to mention that he is in a sketch with Flash Gordon in Robot Chicken. They operated the neighborhood watch in the area. It's so great. It's so
I don't know. I know I know there was a movie of the Phantom in the 90s, and a lot of people hated it.
No, nobody hated that movie.
What?
That movie is the best comic book to movie adaptation ever made.
What are we talking about?
The Phantom, the movie with Billy Zane.
Wait, Willow, what did you say?
I was under the impression that a lot of people hated it.
No.
Okay, so it didn't do well in theaters.
That's correct.
That's true. That's very, very.
It became it sort of slowly became a cult classic.
Yes.
And Billy Zane keeps saying that he's working on the sequel.
Oh, I hope so.
To the story of the next Phantom. Because here's the thing. We were talking about this before you came on air, Willow. The Phantom is not a singular character.
Mm-hmm.
He is a generational character. The mantle of the Phantom gets passed down from father to son throughout history. And the Phantom has been around by this point, like 400 years. And his daughter, Jeddah, will be the next Phantom eventually. She is being trained to take the role. And instead of having the wolf devil as her companion, she'll have her panther. So,
Yeah.
and here's one of the things that I loved about this show is that they amped up the powers on all of these characters. Like in the original Phantom comic strip, the Phantom was just a really good fighter, highly trained, and he did wear a mystic ring, the ring of right, if you can zoom in on that, on his fist. And when he punched people in the face, it left an impression of a skull. But in this show,
That's so
he-
biker gangster.
yeah, in the show, he has the ability to summon the powers of the animals of the jungle and to become as strong as an elephant or as agile as an ape or a monkey or as fast as a cheetah. I love that about this. And then, Mandrake was in the original comics, he was just a stage magician who solved mysteries. And because he knew techniques of deception and mystery, he could see clues that other people couldn't. But in the show, he's almost a full out Doctor Strange, casting illusions and, making things vanish and teleport. And Lothar is described as a Caribbean ninja. If you weren't quite sure what his accent was, you're not alone, because his accent changed mid-sentence. Sometimes it was African, sometimes it was Jamaican man, and sometimes it was
Louis from the show was because the inconsistencies of each character, but just I don't know.
But he's already super strong, and in a later episode, he gets upgraded even more. Rick builds these power gauntlets that give him even more strength and the ability to shoot blasts. So, I mean, they really amped up all of these characters. And for that, I loved it. Now, this show was not a success, not a critical success. And we even have some comments in the comments section from people about this. But I'm going to say that it's not because of the quality of the show. I thought this show was really great quality for 1986. We're dealing with themes we hadn't seen really before, and it set the table for what was to come. And in my opinion, this is better than the X-Men series from the 90s.
That's fine words.
Thank you,
honestly, I felt like the while the art was really good, the storylines weren't. It was mediocre. And the same with the characters. Like I've just felt like I really wanted to.
Oh no, what happened to Willow? Willow got booted from the studio.
I have power.
Okay. We all saw this. Johnny didn't agree with Willow, and Willow disappeared. If Willow disappears, somebody get a hold of Johnny.
I will do my own show, and you will listen to me.
What Willow says.
Anyway,
light bulb.
What I felt was there wasn't like they didn't make this show. I don't know. They didn't portray each character like the way we remember them. I just felt like there was really no redeeming qualities of any of the characters. Nothing really that stood out for me to really enjoy each character as
Okay, that's fair.
Know, maybe because the 63 episodes wasn't enough to carry like any storyline for each character. I don't know.
That's fair. Like, okay, so I am going to agree with you, because when Dale Arden dies, I mean, Flash kind of mourns, and then he turns to Mandrake and Lothar and says, "We need to form a team to stop Ming."
So
I mean, yeah, there's no grief, there's no mourning. It just, and then they go talk to the Phantom, and he says, "Oh yeah, sure, I'll join you in your quest."
Right?
But
Something's
here's
gonna pick up and move.
but here's one of the things that did bug me about the show, and that is the character of Ming the Merciless. Yes, he is pretty true to his character in essence, but Ming the Merciless was head over heels in love and obsessed with Dale Arden. And in every iteration, Ming is trying to make Dale his queen. He never would have tortured her. He never would have killed her.
I didn't see. Because I didn't know that detail. It just didn't even cross my mind to have a
Yeah.
problem with it. So the people that only saw the cartoon had no idea that they just took a major plot point out of a character.
Yeah. And he and Flash Gordon were rivals. He hated Flash, but he had a lot of respect for Flash. Because he is the only person, and a human at that, to defeat his plans and defeat him continually. But he was obsessed with Dale Arden. He never would have killed Dale. Never.
So,
Now,
yeah, maybe somebody needs to alter that story and bring it to life.
well, so that brings us to the comic book series. So the Marvel comic series went along with the Marvel animated show pretty close. But I want to say like mid 2000s, like 2010, 2015, Dynamite, it's even later than that, maybe 2018. Dynamite published King's Watch. And King's Watch is the comic book series of the Defenders of the Earth. But because Marvel owns the Defenders of the Earth name, they couldn't call it Defenders of the Earth. They called it the King's Watch. And this was, they were able to do it because the license is owned by King Features. And so Dynamite got the license for the characters, but they had to retitle the book. This comic series was very serious. It was not goofy. It was not funny. It was very serious stakes. And at the end of the first series, at the end of King's Watch, the Phantom sacrifices his life to save the Earth. And in volume 2, the second series, which was called King's Quest, and this is, by the way, my favorite Flash Gordon design. I love that uniform. But in King's Quest, Lothar took over the mantle of the Phantom until they could find Kit Walker's predecessor, Julie Walker, who does show up in this series, and she is trained to become the next Phantom, trained by Lothar. But Lothar takes on the mantle of the Phantom until they can find the next Phantom, which was very cool. And then Prince Valiant and Jungle Jim, who is actually goofy name, but amazing character. He is another pulp hero from King Features who can basically control the plant life on a planet and communicate with and control plant life. He's very cool, actually. But very serious comic series, very serious depiction of Ming. Ming the Merciless is like, he is determined to conquer the Earth. It's the last planet in his empire for him to conquer, and he's relentless. It's a great series. I have all of the issues. I have both of the trade paperback collections. King's Watch and King's Quest were epic. But these are the original action figures from Defenders of the Earth. Very hard to find these. I do have a loose Phantom action figure somewhere. I couldn't find it. And these are impossible to find in good condition. Usually they're loose. I've never seen them in the package, and I don't remember seeing them in stores when I was a kid. But I do have this loose Phantom figure somewhere in storage. And of course, these are the new ones that I just showed off, the NECA figures. And love those. But
And they did have a video game too.
They did.
The player got to control Flash Gordon and was able to call characters to assist him in bypassing the defenses at Ming's castle to rescue their children.
Yeah.
I don't remember that game either.
But 1990. It was on a Atari system, Commodore 64, Amstrad CPC, Sam Coop, and ZX Spectrum systems.
Huh.
So those early systems.
So we're already over time, but we're going to end with a bunch of audience comments because we've lit up a fire in the comments.
What happened? What happened?
Corey Flood.
Hello.
Disagrees with me about Defenders of the Earth. He says those King Features characters were not popular in the States, but still big in Europe. I'm going to disagree with that, Corey. In my circles, in the retro punk, diesel punk circles, people who love classic pulp adventure, these characters are still huge, still very popular. They were, in 1986, they were kind of falling out of favor. People who, I was 16 in 1986, so I didn't watch this in first run. I saw it in repeats later on, because at 16, I was into other stuff. I was, getting my driver's license. I was performing professionally. I was really into girls. So I remember wanting to see the show, and I remember buying the comic series because I was such a huge fan of the Flash Gordon TV show, the Saturday morning show. I mean, I can't even describe what a fan I was of Flash Gordon. I believe that Flash Gordon animated series is the best Saturday morning cartoon series ever. It's number one on my list. And I used to pretend to be Flash as a kid, playing in the pool. And there's a lot of people my age and who were my age at that time that love these characters like I do today. Now, Zentron says this show was not a masterpiece, but I didn't think it was too bad. No, it wasn't a masterpiece, but they did some things really well. But this is where I got to take issue, Corey Flood. He says Defenders of the Earth was a D-list show way before G.I. Joe, Transformers, or Thundercats. You're not allowed to comment anymore, Corey.
I agree with Corey.
Oh no, what happened to Willow? She just vanished.
Can you hear me better? I changed my mic a little.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that sounds great. Now Zentron, Corey says to Zentron, he couldn't get past the skateboards in that 1990 show, but he was in high school when it aired, so maybe it wasn't for him.
That's fair.
So Zentron says in the 80s, they had a few on-screen deaths in cartoons. Yes, there was one in Gem and also in Captain Planet and the Planeteers, but it was not common.
It was not common for them to allow it. No. They always altered it out almost every single time, a rewrite.
It was almost like the death was always done off screen, and then the next scene was them mourning the death of whatever character.
So Corey Flood says, I'm going to watch this show. Would you say it's like Phantom 2040? No, very different. This show is very different from Phantom 2040. Phantom 2040 is set in 2040, and it's the Phantom of 2040 in the succession of Phantoms, and it is a really cool cyberpunk, almost like Aeon Flux style animation. If you guys remember the MTV series Aeon Flux.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, I really enjoyed the movie. I know a lot of people didn't, but I liked it.
The Aeon Flux
Aeon
movie?
Flux? Oh, I did
Yeah.
too. I think it's one of those that it's got a specific following. You know, specific people like those movies. It like cult classics, like The Phantom.
Andrew Milden just destroyed my opinion of him. He says, I was introduced to Flash Gordon through the movie Ted. What?
No.
What?
Andrew, say it ain't so.
All right.
Well,
I am
at least he was introduced to it.
I am
right?
officially on a campaign. I am officially on a mission to introduce the world to the awesomeness that is the Defenders of the Earth.
Johnny,
Defenders of the Earth.
the reason why I'm laughing is because you're fanboying so hard, just like in Ted, over this character.
I've never seen Ted, so maybe I need to see it.
Yes, you should. You should.
Corey Flood says Willows, Defenders. He agrees. Defenders was just a time filler, something to watch before or an activity you wanted to do. A show or no, Corey, no.
Okay,
I disagree with you.
I will put this out there. Like, each individual character was great for their time. Maybe if they would have just stuck with certain characters being part of the team and not have the kids be kind of in the way. I don't know. That's just me. There was just too many characters.
Well, you might like the comic series then. King's Watch and King's Quest. Now, Andrew Milden redeems himself because he says, I have seen the Phantom at least 100 times.
Okay, there you go. I've seen it less than 10, but I've seen it more than 5.
I maybe have seen that movie more than any other movie because my son loved it when he was little, and we would play it on repeat loop all day long. I love this movie. It is, in my opinion, the finest, the most perfect comic book to film adaptation ever made. And yeah, ever. Better than Iron Man in terms
of Ghost Who Walks.
Yes.
Right, Dave? The Ghost Who Walks. I heard that and I was like, who are they talking about when I started watching a cartoon? And then they said Phantom, and I'm like, I didn't even realize that was.
Yeah, they call him the Ghost Who Walks because he's been around for 400 years. The people of Bengala, the jungle country that he's the defender of, they don't realize. People do, well, some people do know, but most people don't know that it's a generational thing.
Does it reminisce of Black Panther at all to anybody?
Well,
is that just me?
Way before the Black Panther.
I know, but I'm saying, is it not like a shout out the Black Panther a little bit to the Phantom? Absolutely. Was supposed to be there since the creation of their place of their living also.
Well, yeah. So Stan Lee was absolutely influenced by Lee Falk, who created the Phantom.
Okay.
The Phantom is the first comic book printed. He was the first comic character, costume superhero character to have a full-length comic book.
Really?
Yes, he is the original.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, all of these characters from Defenders of the Earth, Flash Gordon, the Phantom, Mandrake, and then alongside with Buck Rogers and a few others, Doc Savage, the Shadow, those were the original superheroes. Tarzan. Those were the templates. John Carter of Mars, those were the templates for all of the superheroes that came after. These are the original comic book superheroes. And that's why I love this series so much. Yeah.
Well,
So
now that you said that, I have to put this pin away. You said this is the first ever like comic book character, and I'm like, now I'm scared to lose this pin. Oh, by the way, this one is $12.95 for this tiny little thing, and it is from Kellogg's. It's got the original on there.
okay. Oh, Pep. Okay. Very
So-
cool.
So that's going away now. Now that I know he was the first comic book character, this is maybe.
That's why when you showed it, I was like, oh.
I didn't know it was that valuable. So I'm like, okay, now you're going to go somewhere safe.
So Corey Flood says there were 2 Phantom movies on Sci-Fi where he looked like RoboCop. It was actually a series, Corey. It was a weekly series, and then they repackaged it as 2 longer movies. And yeah, he wore a visor. He did look a little bit like he had this purple armor kind of. It was true to the story of the Phantom generation to generation, but it wasn't too great. Sci-Fi also did a Flash Gordon series with the kid from Smallville who played. It wasn't good either.
Oh no,
it wasn't good. Zentron says, "By jungle law, I summon the power of 10 tigers."
Right, and it flashes the tigers in your face.
Yeah.
I was counting. It's not 10.
And Andrew Milden says about the Phantom, that is a blazing hot take. Tabby Cat says, "Johnny, this isn't your magic show. Don't actually disappear Willow." Hey, all she has to do is agree with me. That's it.
The great thing about this show is that we don't have to agree with each other.
I know, and that's what makes it so funny.
So, Corey, today is not our day to be getting along. I'll be the first to say that Fox X-Men animation wasn't special, but Defenders wasn't anything great either. It looks like every other Sunbow show.
What's wrong with Sunbow? Do we really have to fight?
And Corey Flood says those action figures were peg warmers when I was a kid. I don't remember anyone having them. I don't ever remember seeing them.
Ooh, I love it.
Dave Mattingly is with me.
Looking for a new network, people, if anybody's hiring.
I love that movie, Dave.
Dave Mattingly says about the Phantom, the movie I've watched more than any other is Big Trouble in Little China, maybe 500 times. That's probably a close second for me. Above Star Wars. Whoa. I mean, I love Star Wars, and I watch the Star Wars movies over and over and over, but that's a full saga. So, but as singular movies, Phantom, Big Trouble in Little China, Silverado.
Okay, your turn, Willow. Which one, the movie you've seen the most, since we're on that topic all of a sudden?
What movie have I seen the most? I don't know.
Johnny says it's a Phantom for him. What is the one movie you've seen the most in your life?
Beetlejuice.
That's so cute.
That as a kid, that was my comfort movie. That was that or Adventures in Babysitter.
Oh, that was a good movie. That was a funny movie.
I love Adventures in Babysitting. Nobody bleeps with the babysitter. Nobody get us out of here without singing the blues. All right, so Corey Flood does make a good point that these King Features characters were more comic strip heroes from the newspaper, not really comic books. Yes and no. They started as comic strips in the newspapers. Then they were the first characters because there was existing material to be packaged in comic book form. And throughout the years, there have been numerous comic book series on all of these characters. They come back over and over and over again. So that's partially true, but not entirely. So anyway, we've got a ton of comments and we're over time. But I want to leave it on want to leave it on a high note. And Corey, even though we disagree, I still appreciate you. And this is kind of what a Saturday morning would be like, right? When we were kids, not everyone thought the same thing about the same properties. I had a friend who hated the game Combat on the Atari 2600. I love that game. I loved it. He wanted to play E.T., which was a crappy, impossible game to play.
Atari.
But we met in the middle with Defender and Joust.
Okay.
So, Corey, I don't know where you are, Corey, but if you're in Middle Tennessee, I would love to meet up with you at Game Terminal and have a video game tournament at Game Terminal.
I was thinking about going there today. No joke.
Really?
Oh my God, I love
haven't
their
gone to
pinball
an
games.
arcade in a while.
Oh my gosh, I was the girl, one of the only girls usually in my area that was attached to the pinball area of the game.
You know what?
Area. I
now
spent
I've got it.
all of my babysitting money there.
I'm right there with you. I love pinball, maybe more than any other video gaming or board gaming. I could play pinball all day long. I suck at it, but I love it.
There's so many good games at Game Terminal. I didn't even know. I played the X-Men game, me and a friend, and we were both doing 2 characters at the same time because you can't do just one. So we're like sitting there trying to.
No, you can do just one.
Well, no, not if you put enough in for all of them. You want to don't want to leave anybody out.
For those of you who don't know, Game Terminal in Middle Tennessee in Nashville is this giant warehouse that has been converted to a free play arcade with a bar and restaurant. And it's maybe the coolest thing ever.
It's got some really good old games that you can die every single time you want to die, just over and over and over again.
Yep.
But then some pinball that looks like you're on the moon and the balls float under this unlevel surface. So cool. And then there's the classics, of course, the Star Wars, Elvira, Addams Family. Can't forget those.
Willow, you were about to say?
While I'm a huge X-Men fan, yes, but Street Fighter 2 will always be the best fighting game. Marvel versus Capcom is one of my favorite games.
Boom. I love that game. Love it. And they have it at Game Terminal. You guys have given me the itch. I might have to go scratch that itch today. And we're going to leave the show with this comment from Tabby Cat. Corey Flood first. The invisible tanks on Combat were awesome. Yes, I agree with you. We're in agreement. And then Tabby Cat says, game off. X-Men versus Street Fighter. Let's go. Y'all, I'll meet you at Game Terminal later tonight. And we got to go. You guys keep commenting. I love that our audience is so engaged with us. Every Saturday, they show up for us and they engage and they have such great comments. And Rabbit's Garage gets the last word, says Willow is speaking facts. The MVC and Street Fighter 2. So Marvel versus Capcom and Street Fighter 2 are the best. I agree 100%.
And I'm a huge fighting game fan. Like,
ooh, well,
you guys, you have no idea how addicted to Double Dragon I was.
Oh,
Willow,
find out new things about each other every Saturday morning.
You just gave me an idea, but we got to go. We're way over time. Once again, you guys, thank you so much for joining us in the chat, in the virtual rec room. We're going to be here again next week. And next week, what is our topic? I don't even remember. But I think this Saturday 102 series, guys, we're going to do something a little bit different than we did the first time. And that is we're going to focus more on the superhero comic book characters. So the next episode is going to be Banana Splits. because their cartoon series that they played during Banana Splits were The Arabian Nights, Three Musketeers, and Danger Island. Uh-oh, Chungo!
I have never seen any of those.
You're going to love it. You're going to love it.
I'm
So
so
next week,
excited.
Banana Splits. Join us here in the virtual rec room. Jump in your pajamas, grab a big bowl of cereal, and join us to celebrate the fun of the Saturdays of our youth. And everybody follow Willow, Skylar, and Aubrey, Skylar Productions on Instagram and all the socials. And Aubrey is at Miss Kindred Ivy on Instagram. And you can follow me on all of the socials, but definitely visit our website first. And that is going to be backofthecerealbox.fun. And before we go, as we leave, we're going to give a big shout out to our partners, Comic Books for Kids.
Comic Books for Kids provides comic books to kids in hospitals and cancer centers across the U.S. It's a place where we can all work together to make sure every child has a comic book. 100% of all proceeds go towards the kids. It's about making a difference, and while they're in the hospital, allowing them to fly like a superhero, battle dragons, or rescue teddy bears. We are in every state in the country and now support over 160 hospitals. Every month, we add more.
Visit cb4k.org.
They are awesome. And you know what it's like? It's just like this.
It's like Coca-Cola, Levi Strauss, Johnny Carson, and Mickey Mouse.